Hey, folks, how you doing? This is the 11th of February, 2014. This is the Views Expressed live. No, it's not a podcast, it's live. I'm here on this Tuesday. I am your host, Reverend Wayne S. Pierce. Hello, Chickamauga, Georgia area on 1610 a.m. over there with Waking Up the Masses with Bob Brutus. Yes. What are we talking about today? Holy crap. What are we talking about today? Well, there's a lot. And you can go to Free America Radio on Facebook. Check out the articles I put up there. And because I just want to put this out here because I want to make sure that people understand what's going on. You have these pathetic people that are supposed to be protecting and serving, or serving and protecting us, called law enforcement officers, who are shooting dogs and young kids, and just because. I got a message for you. Go into your boss's office, put your gun and your badge on the desk, and quit. Because you do not deserve to be in uniform. You don't. You don't. If you're going to be that pathetic, then I suggest you think about another line of work. You know, I get sick and tired of hearing it. All of this bull crap. I saw a video this morning about how a cop shot a service dog, and there were two dogs, and one was just jumping and looked like was just having fun, and the cop was kicking the dog. It was a service dog for a 9-year-old's father. I'll put it out like this. The city should be sued, the cops should be sued, and the police department should be sued for everything they have. Period. Now, you know, of course, you got to hear the other side. No, I don't. I saw the video. The video's enough. I will stand in judgment against anybody who harms an animal for no apparent reason whatsoever. And if you harm one of my animals, I'll be calling the police to bring a body bag. Yeah, I care for my animals. They have emotions. They have a spirit. They are sentient beings just like you are, you jerk off in uniform. My message to you is simple. If you got the balls to stand up like that and pull a gun on a helpless four-legged dog and a pet and a service animal for somebody, then why don't you come and meet me? And I will show you what you have done. And don't give me this crap that, I felt like my life was in danger because the dog was jumping. No, you're just an ass. Okay? I'm calling out all police officers, all of these law enforcement officers. All of them. Every single last one of them. You pull a gun on a dog, and I swear to goodness, if the owner of that dog shoots you, you obviously deserved it. I make no apologies. None. And my message to you is simple. You got a problem with that? You come and talk to me. We'll sit down and discuss it like rational human beings.
And will, to the best of my ability,
preserve, protect, and defend
preserve, protect, and defend
the Constitution of the United States.
the Constitution of the United States.
So help you God?
So help me God.
Ah, damn politicians. My mother always told me this country would be screwed if the liberals had their way. The only sanity I get is when I listen to Jeff Wagner on the Conservative Voice, only on the Conservative Radio Network.
This is Reverend Wayne S. Pierce, and I want to tell you of a DVD that I have watched. It's a very interesting one. It's a film by Alex Jones. It's called Endgame, Blueprint for Global Enslavement. For the New World Order, a world government is just a beginning. Once in place, they can engage their plan to exterminate 80% of the world's population while enabling the quote-unquote elites to live forever with the aid of advanced technology. For the first time, crusading filmmaker Alex Jones reveals their secret plan for humanity's extermination. Operation Endgame. That's Endgame by Alex Jones. Get it at Infowars.com or PrisonPlanet.com. Hey folks, I'm back. This is The Views Expressed Live. Right here for the 11th of February 2014. I am your host, Reverend Wayne S. Pierce. You can email me at freeamericaradio@unseen.is. Keep the other email address as well. freeamericaradio@unseen.is. I meant what I said. But I also want to say that not all police officers are bad. I know a lot of them that are really, really good. I know a lot of them that have, and I have heard, turned in these officers that shot dogs or whatever, or did something stupid. Good for you. I give you a big virtual high five for that one. And I want everyone to know that I respect good constitutional law enforcement officers who protect and serve because that is their duty to do just that. I do not have any ill will against them, and I hope that they go home to their families at night. But these jackasses that think they got to pull a gun on everything. Oh, a dog's jumping up on me. Oh, a kid is 11 years old and has a toy rifle, so the cop shoots him. Oh, I've heard stories. And those people need to be put behind bars. And I mean put behind bars. And the family needs to sue the city for everything they have. Well, how's that going to help the situation? No. You take the city to court, you're holding them accountable. And you put the Constitution in that courtroom, Constitution prior to 1871, and you put that in there and you tell that judge, I want this officer convicted under the laws, period. What? The officer has a defense? What was it? It's going to be very shaky as far as I'm concerned. Little heads up for you people. Out in Oakland, California. Attention, Californians. Oakland, California. It's probably all over the boards out there as well. Oakland, California, Amber Alert. License number 6JFM648, California. 2001 Red Infiniti QX4 Sport Utility Vehicle. Okay? California, Oakland, California, Amber Alert. License number 6JFM648, California license plate. 2001 Red Infiniti QX4 Sport Utility Vehicle. Be on the lookout for that one. Let me go on to another Another subject, which of course is why I do this show. We have a situation going on in Washington, D.C. that apparently needs to be addressed. Okay? It needs to be addressed. Okay? And that is, the president says that he can do whatever he wants. Really? The Constitution ties the hands of the federal government and protects we the people. And if we the people don't have the balls to stand up and hold this criminal accountable for what he does, then we're going to be living, as we are now, in a tyranny, in a dictatorship. And as far as I'm concerned, I've kind of gotten used to the freedom and liberty that our founding fathers instilled upon this continent. But I also have to admit I don't like how they went about doing it either. But that's okay. As far as I'm concerned, the President of the United States is a criminal, period, end of sentence. So he's committed crimes against humanity and against the Constitution of the United States of America. That's just the way it is. And if you say, well, do you got proof of that? How about opening your eyes, jackass, and looking at what he's done? Oh, he's done more good stuff. Okay, you can get your face away from that state-run media and stop believing that bull crap and start looking around and using your brain that hasn't been sucked out of your head. We need a Nuremberg trial is what we need. We need a, what do they call that? A constitutional convention? Yeah. That'll put this president on notice, won't it? Oh, wait. No, it won't, because we'll arrest his ass and put him in front of a grand jury. Oh, by the way, all your municipalities, all your courts, and all your cities and states, they're all incorporated. Yeah, go check that out. We don't live in a democracy or a republic, folks. We live in a corporate society, a corporate government. That's why the corporates can do whatever they want and get bailed out with your tax money. Didn't know that? Probably doesn't come as a surprise to you. But as far as I'm concerned, we need to get back to the Constitution and the Bill of Rights prior to 1871 for the sole purpose of changing things for the better. Getting rid of things like this. Agenda 21 revealed. You need to know this. Lucia Femine, I don't know. Thank you, Lucille. Over at asheepnomore.net. Agenda 21 is a major tool of the New World Order conceived in 1992 in Rio de Janeiro at the Earth Summit. Its original name, Sustainable Development, began in 1987 with Gro Harlem Brundtland, I believe, VP of the World Socialist Party. That's Gro, G-R-O, Harlem, like Harlem, Brundtland, Vice President of the World Socialist Party. Heavily promoted to the public as the salvation for this planet and every human being, it is anything but that. It needs to be revealed in no uncertain terms so that you know what it truly is. By putting the data out there, the writer here says, I might be labeled a prominent member of the lunatic fringe, but I believe we have an ethical obligation to present truth as we see it. If I'm wrong, the writer here says, if I'm wrong, well, I'll be embarrassed, but then I'll be relieved because maybe this insanity won't happen after all. However, there is growing evidence this rotten egg called Agenda 21 has been hatching for quite some time under our very noses, and it stinks. The writer here says, at the momentous meeting, 178 nations signed the document. President Bush signed for the U.S. Later, President Clinton signed an executive order basically demanding compliance from every state and community with the goals and plans of Agenda 21, which is fast coming about as official policy in every town, city, and state. Compassionate sounding terms like population stabilization and sustainable development are simply masks for the true purpose of the United Nations plan, world domination of your life and liberty, and basically an insidious plot to control any and all parts of existence. According to its authors, sustainability focuses on three things. Quote, global land use, global education, and global population control and reduction, unquote. Doesn't sound too bad, does it? The writer says. However, in actual practice, these concepts pan out far below their lofty rhetoric. Let me read those three things again to you, folks. If you go on YouTube and look under Ted Turner World Depopulation, you'll see a video. If you look for Bill Gates World Depopulation, you'll see a video. Yeah, this is not conspiracy theory, folks. This is fact. It's laid out in the UN's own documents. Let me read this again to you. The author states here of this article, according to its authors, sustainability focuses on three things, quote, global land use, global education, and global population control and reduction, unquote. Continuing, the true objectives of Agenda 21 revealed include an end to national sovereignty, restructure of the family unit, which means basically the state will take care of your children with a keen eye towards indoctrinating them into state control over family allegiance, abolition of private property with citizens crammed into, quote, stack and pack, unquote, high-rise apartment buildings close to railroad tracks while cars will not be allowed. Santa Cruz has already been granted $300 million in federal funds to build these apartment buildings. In exchange to their willingness to participate in these sustainable acts, they are given immunity to construction defect liability. Build them, and if there's something wrong and they collapse on one another, hey, they're not held responsible. In Washington, one of these high-risers is a 9-story building with no elevators where tenants share a bath and kitchen with 7 other tenants. Santa Cruz has been the test case for putting Agenda 21 on the whole map. Speaking of maps, there is a very startling one which shows the aim of the Wildlands Project part, Agenda 21, how 50% of the country under this new system will be off limits to humans while most of the rest of the land will be highly controlled. There are little black spots on the map which show the locations of all the high-risers which will be built. Agenda 21's logo centers around these symbols which represents S, E-S. The first one is equity, which uses law to change justice from social to equal. Glenn Beck talked about how bad that truly is when he was at CNN and at Fox, so I think you should listen to him. Continuing, the idea of precautionary principle means one is not allowed to harm anything, even small animals, and even on one's own property. The second one is economy, which will replace the free enterprise with public-private partnerships. In other words, as Hitler called it, fascism. Yeah, these are the, I said S, didn't I? The logo, the Agenda 21 logo, centers around these symbols, which represents ease, E-S, or E''S, or whatever it is. The third is environmental, which basically puts nature above man. The main focus of Agenda 21 is to take control of the land, because once they do that, they can control any human activity. Then there's Global Citizenship Education Program, evidenced in the No Child Left Behind program. That sound familiar? Children will be educated into collectivism. The third is control over and a great reduction of population. Whoever is left will be congregated in those crowded communities of high-risers. These globalists present the notion that the world population should not be more than 500 million. Go search Georgia Guidestones. That means 93% of the existing population would have to be eliminated. How do you suppose they intend to accomplish that, or have been accomplishing it? The Democratic and Republican parties both are in favor of world government. The strategy is to go from global to local, infusing every state and community with their programs. These are done through the help of ICLEI, or the International Council of Local Environmental Initiatives. Many in this group have been insinuating themselves into local governments to implement Agenda 21 policies and derivatives, all to the detriment of that city or community. As of 2011, they have moved into several cities in almost every state in the Union. Harvey Rubin, vice chairman of ICLEI, once said, quote, this is what Harvey Rubin, vice chairman of that group, says. Quote, individual rights will have to take a back seat to the collective, unquote. That is eerily, historically familiar. The good news is they are being fought hard on that same local level. In Alabama last year, the governor banned any and all sustainability projects of the UN being enforced in the state. It's a law. Senate Bill 477 passed unanimously. Quote, it seems that Agenda 21 does actually bring people together in communities, just not in the way the UN had hoped for, unquote, said Justice Gilpin Green about this win in Alabama. Further, he said, quote, it was citizen awareness and direct action that finally brought about the needed changes last week, and that same awareness and action will be needed for the future of every other state, unquote. In New Hampshire, work is being done on a similar measure. In Arizona, 2012, the bill prohibiting any UN sustainability passed in the Senate and looks like it's a go in the House. This is the only way to beat them as individuals, members of a community, city, or state. Do everything possible to ban Agenda 21 from an area. This is how Alabama did it, because the governor, who was not willing to give up federal funding, was finally won over by the grassroots protest. That's the carrot they dangle, federal funding. It's no better than welfare and much more deadly to our freedom, because it's only meant to control and suppress on a grander scale than has ever existed before. Agenda 21 must be revealed to everyone. Do what you can. There is a video there by Michael Shaw. So I would suggest doing what you must. And if that means hundreds and hundreds of thousands of you getting out into your city and carrying signs and walking down the street and holding up traffic and stopping commerce, that's exactly what you have to do. That's exactly what you have to do. If you got video, there's always live stream, Ustream, YouTube Live. You can also do it and send me the video at Free America Radio at unseen.is. I don't know, folks. I mean, we can do whatever it is we need to do. I don't see a problem in that. I don't see a problem with us going out, holding up signs and peacefully protesting all of this. I don't see a problem in that. Civil disobedience is I mean, you know, it's pretty key to keeping our freedoms and liberties, don't you think? I think so. But I think it's also up to you as well. Think about what's going on. Now, a lot of people are going to look at me and go, that's tough. Why are you talking about that? The UN wouldn't do that. Yeah, 25 years ago, I didn't think the United States of America would ever commit to destroying itself. Okay? When I started looking into all of this years, before, about 30, 35 years ago, I never even imagined that the United States would pull anything like that against the American people. I was wrong. 1964, false flag event in the Gulf of Tonkin to get us into the Vietnam War. Don't tell me it didn't happen. There's soldiers out there that will tell you it did. Yeah. The bombing in Beirut that killed Marines. False flag event to get us over there to start, trying to take that country over. Folks, the military-industrial complex in America is nothing more than a bunch of bullies in a schoolyard. And what we do is we go into other countries, involve ourselves into their civil wars. We call on our people, meaning the FBI, the CIA, to come in and stage events and get us further into that country. And then the FBI, CIA, and all those little minions that they use, fight amongst themselves and say, oh, look, there's a big thing going on over here. And then it goes into the state-run media, and the state-run media puts it out, and you believe it. When, in fact, it was our own military-industrial complex and the minions that they control that started this whole thing. And we involve ourselves in other people's country. To do what? To enslave its people and to steal its resources. Sound familiar, doesn't it? Eastern Europeans came over here. There were natives. There were natives over here. I don't know we call them the American Indians now, but I don't know what they were called then. And we killed them and we took their land. Kind of sounds familiar, doesn't it? Jeez. You can hear the views expressed live in the Chickamauga, Georgia area on 1610 AM, wakingupthemasses.com. Go check that out as well. Go out and go check out Kicking the Capstone with your host, Bob Brutus. He follows this show at the top of the hour at 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern, or 8 p.m. Central. I don't know. I think it is Eastern, 9 p.m. Eastern. But anyway, yeah, if you have any questions, concerns, comments, even if you disagree with me, I don't mind. Send me information. You got the email address right there on the Spreaker side of things and also at freeamericaradio.us. But here's another email address you might want to throw in your contact list. freeamericaradio@unseen.is. freeamericaradio@unseen.is. Stay tuned, folks. I'll be returning right after this. Tune in to The Views Expressed live, Monday through Friday, 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern, right here on RadioKahuna.com.
Joining the us today on RadioKahuna.com. We so appreciate having you in. This is Steve from Claire Normal Talk Radio. I'm also here, one of the personalities on Radio Kahuna. I enjoy doing this. I enjoy having you people in. Thank you so very much. Hey, we're growing all over the planet by leaps and bounds. People from all over the planet are coming in and listening. But there's not enough. It's not enough. We need more. We're asking for your help. Tell a friend. Tell 2 friends. Tell 10 friends. Just tell them this. Tell them they'll get laid. Come on in. Enjoy the surf. The sets are fine. Steve from Claire Normal Talk Radio and Radio Kahuna. Thank you very much.
Dreams that you dream of. What is reality? The foundation of reality is based on many concepts. Each person perceives reality differently. In the book, The Grid by Marie D. Jones and Larry Flaxman, they explore the hidden infrastructure of reality. Get your copy today at Barnes & Noble and Amazon.com. The Grid by Marie D. Jones and Larry Flaxman. Hey folks, how you doing? This is The Views Expressed. I am your host, Reverend Wayne S. Pierce, right here on Free America Radio Network for the 11th of February 2014. Little show note for you. Gonna be off Thursday and Friday. Just want to let Bob Brutus over at WakingUpTheMasses.com know that too. So I'll be off Thursday and Friday. I got a lot of things to catch up on. Take a little vacation, sometimes you get a little, you get emotionally involved in all of this and you just want to go rip some heads off, you know what I'm saying? So I've got a lot of work to bring to bring you the information that I bring you, but it's also a working vacation. So I'm taking a few days off, just kind of, getting out for a little while, and I'm going to try to get, I'm still on my laptop, folks. My desktop took a crap because the power supply failed. So I gotta get either a new system or a new power supply. And, I will soon be back being able to take calls, and I'm looking at 3 guests when I get all that done. I don't know when that's going to get done. Probably in a few weeks. Just gotta get my computer fixed, folks. I'm on my laptop there. So, anyway, yes, I'm looking at getting guests on the show. Told you the whole show is changing. Everything is changing. Free America Radio Network is moving to the next level. We're already on a micro broadcasting system in Chickamauga area at the 1610 AM side of things. And so Bob Brutus, I want to thank him for doing all of that. Awesome virtual high five. And also, things are just changing. And hopefully, I can't tell you what's in the works, but I can tell you what I would like to do. And what I would like to do, if possible, is to get another show on the Free America Radio Network with a totally different host. That way you won't have to listen to me. You got me for 2 hours a day. I think that's enough for you, right? So I'm trying to get, things working out, and so I can get another show on Free America Radio Network. Same type of show, a little bit different points of view, different perspectives. So, I mean, that's cool because we all need that. And just letting you know, little side note there for y'all. And to let you know what's coming up on the Free America Radio Network, which you can be a part of helping me get to the next level. So go to freeamericaradio.us, freeamericaradio.us, and you can donate to help Free America Radio get to the next level. Thank you very much. What else? Holy crap. Let's take a look. See, I'm using my phone to gather all the news that I need. Go to Free America Radio on Facebook, by the way. I got a bunch of stuff up there. I got from Stop Amnesty on Facebook. Breaking, Politico is reporting that immigrant groups plan to, quote, unleash their anger, unquote, to start an aggressive campaign confronting congressmen until an amnesty bill passes. In other words, they want to open the borders. The Mexicans want to open the border. They want all the borders open. They want every single border open because they don't give a crap about the U.S. And if you look under the information from the schools in Mexico City and in other places north of that, you will find that in their schools they're teaching their students that about Aztlan, the southwestern part of the United States, is theirs, and they want to take it back. Let me say something to you Mexicans down there that think you can just come over here illegally and take our land. We kicked Santa Anna out of here, and we beat the crap out of him. Do you think we're going to allow this again? I don't think so. And you're not messing with a bunch of hicks anymore. You're dealing with a bunch of people that love their country, that are satisfied knowing that they have the ability to be innovative, creative, and productive, unlike your damn socialistic country down there, which is falling apart because you've allowed the drug cartels to take over. Oh, and the United States through Fast and Furious to fund them. Dumbass! I'm not racist, prejudiced, or anything else. I have friends of every race, creed, and religion that you can think of. And let me tell you something. Illegal is illegal. You jump over the border, I'm going to kick your ass back. You come here the right way, I'll shake your hand, we'll go to Disneyland. Well, maybe not that. I'll go buy you a cup of coffee anyway. You get the point? Americans don't want you here. And then there's pro-open borders people here that are saying, well, we got to give them the opportunity to, have a better life. Listen up, dumbass. What part of illegal don't you understand? Well, okay, the argument could be, existentially be that, who declared the borders? Who declared that whoever crosses that border is illegal? Oh, yeah, if a tree falls in the forest and no one's around to hear it, does it make a sound? Yeah. Who did that? Somebody cut down that tree, didn't they? Anyway, the law is the law, period. Now, someone I heard yesterday on a program that I listened to said that no matter if they're here, they're covered and protected under our Constitution and Bill of Rights. No, they're here illegally. They broke the law. Hello. No, they are not covered under the Constitution and Bill of Rights of the United States of America. No. Pack your little bags and get the hell out of my country now if you think that's true. Go, bye-bye, if you think that's not true. Excuse me. If you want open borders, and I'm talking to Americans here, born and raised here, the far-left liberal loons that think we need to open borders, everything, you need to pack your bags and go to China or Russia. Bye-bye, have a nice day. I ain't going to put up with your crap. I said it before, I'll say it again. I ain't putting up with stupid people. So you can go do what you want. Can I rant and get pissed off a little more? Because I know you're pissed. You're prejudiced. You just don't want people here and you don't care. Oh, I've heard the arguments. Trust me, I've heard the arguments, okay? I've heard all the arguments. I've heard the accusations. People blaming or people telling me I'm racist and people need opportunity. Do it the right way, because I sure as hell won't go to England until I know that I have a job over there, or if I want to go to some other country, I'm not going to go there just popping in and go, hey, I'm here, take care of me, because no, that ain't going to happen. Okay? No. So don't do it here. I don't care where you come from. You come from Mexico, you're illegal. You come from any other country coming into this country, you're illegal. Hello? Unless you do it the right way. Like I said, you do it the right way, I'll buy you a cup of coffee. From Paul Joseph Watson on Facebook, Homeland Security to purchase 141,000 rounds of sniper ammo, zombie hunter bullets designed for deadly long-range capability. I just saw a post on Facebook where somebody replied to something somebody said, I know. But they said, oh yeah, once I saw Infowars.com, I didn't want to read it. Okay, dumbass. You know what I replied? I didn't say that. What I said was, okay, go back to your, state-run media and your GMO-laced food. Because, that's all you got. Yeah. The Department of Homeland Security is buying more bullets with the solicitation for over 141,000 rounds of sniper ammunition. According to the solicitation posted at FedBizOps, the federal agency is looking to procure 141,160 rounds of Hornady .308 Winchester 160 grain AMAX tap ammunition. Yeah, that's some stuff there, folks. Yeah. Take a round and shoot it into a watermelon. Yeah, where's the watermelon after that? Such ammunition is sometimes retailed as Zombie Max, a marketing gimmick alluding to its power. Quote, what makes the .308 ammunition so deadly is the long-range capability of the round, notes James Smith. Quote, the ability is called ballistics coefficient, or the efficiency of the projectile in the overcoming air resistance as it travels to its target. According to Spear Reloading Manual number 13, the .308 165 grain has the highest coefficient of any hunting rifle, unquote. The latest purchase further illustrates the fallacy of the DHS's excuse that it's buying bullets in bulk in order to save money. The federal agency will pay around $1.20 for each round when a lower grain round could be acquired for around a quarter of the price. That is on Free America Radio on Facebook. Check it out for more info if you'd like. Okay, yeah, DHS isn't buying anymore. Oh, by the way, did you know that the post office just bought a few hundred rounds of ammunition? I think I have it here on Free America Radio on Facebook. It's somewhere. Yeah, I'm looking on my phone, sorry. It's here. Yeah, the post office is buying ammunition. The post office is buying ammunition. Why? Why is the post office buying ammunition? Huh? It just doesn't make any sense to me. Okay, it doesn't make any sense to me. The post office is buying ammunition. I don't get it, folks. I seriously don't. I'm looking here on my phone to see if I have the article. But you can go look it up today. It was posted today, and it was post office buys ammunition. And you might want to check out a video as well on Free America Radio on Facebook. Who Owns You? You might want to check that out as well. Also revealed Big Pharma's hidden links to NSH or NHS policy. God, there's just so much here that, and I'm scrolling on my phone trying to find it here. So here we are. The DHS, the post office, more police agencies in the country. Let's see. Why is the federal government buying up all this ammunition? Why? Because, folks, they're coming after us. I don't want to hear it anymore. You stupid people out there absolutely do not care and do not want to understand, so I'm not going to waste my time explaining it to you. But to the able-bodied, clear-minded folks that see what's going on, let me say this. You've got a decision to make, and that decision better be the right one. I'm just saying. I'm just putting it out there. PoliceStateUSA.com says 10 prison security techniques being implemented on the American people. Go check that out. From TellMeNow.com. TellMeNow.com. Okay. As soon as it loads, my phone's a little slow today. Oh, folks, there's two things that you need to concern yourself with. There are two things, very, very, very clear two things. One, you need to take a look at your surroundings and ask yourself, is it safe? Is it safe to live there? Is it safe to be there? Is it safe to do business there? And when I say safe, I'm talking everything from the streets to the town to the neighborhoods. Is it safe to be there? And if you have kids, that question should be the answer to that question should be a no-brainer. So, but the other thing you have to look at and ask yourself is, where am I going to go that is not, where am I going to go that's going to be more positive? That's the other question. And I really think those questions can be answered. The thing is, though, and here's another question if you want to ask yourself this, is how long before the crap hits the fan? Well, if you look at what's happening right now out in front of you, the crap is hitting the fan already. We just don't want to get any of it on us. Okay? Obama quietly orders $1 billion worth of disposable FEMA coffins. This is January 23rd, 2014. Obama has been operating behind the scenes to prepare an action in case of an American revolt that will not only squash a revolution, but kill many of its participants. The first step of this action would be to disarm the American people and throw anyone that is, or might be, a threat into a detention center, a FEMA camp. During the course of the revolt, many will die, both in battle and in the camps, an inevitable circumstance Obama is already preparing for. The current president of the United States, among other things, has already ordered $1 billion worth of disposable coffin liners. Around the country has stored the 5 million what will be FEMA coffins in various locations. According to landowners, the CDC is leasing land in order to store the strangely large amounts of coffins on their land. A man who recently stumbled across a stockpile of the top-secret government purchase claims that what looks like plastic bins to be multi-use cremation containers. Folks, I was in the funeral business for over 3.5 years. I know what these things look like. I know what they are used for, okay? And let me tell you this right now, the container looks like, it's not so much a container, but if you want to say it can be used for a double purpose. It's literally, the bottom part is where a coffin in shipment sits. And when you take off the top part and turn it upside down, that's the pictures you see. So they contain the caskets from the casket companies, but when you turn them over, yeah, they're pretty huge, folks. You can dump about 3 or 4 bodies in those things and bury them. Okay? I was in the business for 3.5 years. I know what they look like. Okay? The containers are excessively large for one person, as the commentator notes, could hold 3 to 4 bodies. Just told you. Maybe more. He continues to state that the containers under patent number, go look this up, folks, patent number 5,425,163. That's patent number 5,425,163. 425,163, quote, are cremation containers for multiple bodies, unquote, that, quote, generate very little pollution, unquote. Well, whoever said that could be wrong. Along with this, the Department of Homeland Security has also ordered their own stockpile of 14 million body bags. What could cause the government to make such purchases in anticipation of so many deaths? The next purchase seemed to shed a little more light on the subject. The DHS ordered 140 million long life meals, or MREs, meals ready to eat. Now, of course, our military does have the need for MREs, and our boys overseas eat them regularly, but they are ordered by the military division, not the DHS. Just went to our local area here. I'm not going to tell you where it is. Just went to a local business here that has MREs. And we went there several weeks ago, about a month ago, and we asked if they were getting any more in. And he goes, I can't get them. I said, well, doesn't your supplier have? And he goes, no, they're being bought out. And he looked right at me and he says, yeah, the DHS is buying them. That's what he said. The DHS is anticipating the enactment of FEMA camps all across the nation. And of course, when you incur prisoners, you must feed them. This, along with the several secretive locations of FEMA camps that are just waiting to need, makes these purchases extremely frightening. What do you think? Is Obama really willing to kill Americans to stay in power? Was Hitler or Mussolini or Stalin or Lenin? Same way, folks. Same way, okay? So anyway, I am going to say this. I'm going to make it very, very clear, and I'm going to make it very blunt, and if you don't like it, get some thicker skin. Anyone who thinks that myself and Brian Keller or Nick Tucker or anybody else for that matter is a conspiracy theorist and we don't know what we're talking about, I, for one, and I don't speak for the others, but I, for one, will say this. Shut up. Yeah. Don't like that? I don't care. For those chemtrail deniers, for those FEMA camp deniers, for all those people that think I'm a conspiracy theorist, shut up. You don't have a clue. You have none. Zip, zero, zilch, and nada. None. Okay? Because you don't want, number one, to admit that anything is wrong, and number two, you don't want to admit you're wrong. That's just the way it is. Got a problem with that? Email me, freeamericaradio@unseen.is, freeamericaradio@unseen.is. From policestateusa.com, throwing 3 cigarette butts, throwing 3 cigarette butts onto the ground in Illinois could soon make you a felon. Yeah. There you go. Dropping cigarette butts out of a car window could now result in felony charges in Illinois, according to an amendment to the state's Litter Control Act passed last month. A 3-strike offender could receive years of imprisonment and tens of thousands of dollars in fines, plus living with the scarlet letter of being convicted felon, and all the freedom-restricting things that come along with that title. Cigarette butts are certainly unsightly, and it's not difficult to understand why people would want to do something about them being thrown all over public and private property. The trouble is determining what should be done about them. Up until now, cigarette litter in Illinois was covered only by local ordinances, which could include fines and other minor penalties, depending on the location. Arguably, local ordinances are the best solution for dealing with such issues, but that wasn't good enough for legislators in Illinois. They wanted to change the definition of litter according to state law. Sounds reasonable, right? The trouble is that the state litter law has steep penalties that don't seem to fit the crime in all cases, particularly for the most common form of litter in the world, cigarette butts. The first conviction of the state's litter law gets one a Class B misdemeanor with a maximum penalty of 180 days in jail and a fine of $1,500. A second conviction is a Class A misdemeanor with a maximum penalty of 364 days in jail and a fine of $2,500. The first and second strike offenses already offer punishments which exceed the penalties for dropping a cigarette butt in most parts of the country. Typically, the punishment for such litter would be a citation and a small fine. The shocking third strike penalty truly exemplifies why cigarettes don't belong attached to this law. A third conviction of breaking the Litter Control Act brings a litter bug a Class 4 felony punishable with a 1 to 3 year prison sentence and a fine of $25,000. That's the same classification as a crime as aggravated assault and stalking. And after a 3-strike litter bug suffers his prison sentence and fines, he or she gets to live with the lifelong classification of convicted felon, a title that strips them of voting privileges, the right to own a gun, and the ability to easily get a job. Can you see lawsuits ensuing after this? Researching the law, the author here said, I discovered that other petty things are explicitly named in the Litter Control Act, such as grass clippings and garden waste. So misplaced lawn refuse and discarded newspaper could earn you a felony as well. The exact definition of litter as defined by the new law is as follows. Litter means any discarded, used, or unconsumed substance or waste. Litter may include, but is not limited to, any garbage, trash, refuse, cigarettes, debris, rubbish, grass clippings, or other lawn or garden waste, newspapers, magazines, glass, metal, plastic, or paper containers, or other packaging construction material, abandoned vehicles as defined in the Illinois Vehicle Code, motor vehicle parts, furniture, oil, carcass of a dead animal, any nauseous or offensive matter of any kind, any object likely to injure any person or create a traffic hazard, potentially infectious medical waste as defined in Section 3.360 of the Environmental Protection Act, or anything else of an unsightly or unsanitary nature which has been discarded, abandoned, or otherwise disposed of improperly. Yeah, you might want to think twice about throwing your McDonald's wrapper out the window. Illinois HB 3243 was signed into law by Governor Pat Quinn on August 16th. It will take effect on January 1st, 2014. Guess what? It's already in effect, folks. Lori Gumow, a litter lobbyist and executive director of Keep Northern Illinois Beautiful, said that she hopes cops diligently enforce the law. She claims that the litter promotes crime. It's, quote, it's the whole broken windows thing, unquote, she explained. The stiff penalties don't bother Illinois law enforcers. Quote, if I'm driving down the street and I see someone do that, flick a butt out the window, I would take enforcement action, unquote. Rockford Park District Police Sergeant John Pickelin told the Rockford Register-Star, litter is a property rights issue and should not be ignored, but it is an issue that would be better handled by local ordinances rather than by powerful state laws with overly broad definitions. Litter laws need to be reformed to fix the work of the reformers. So there you go, folks. There you go, Illinois, falling like California and New York, falling to the New World Order. Now, how much you want to make a bet that the Governor Pat Quinn is probably going to get enough email and phone calls. As a matter of fact, everybody call Pat Quinn's office, email him, find out what it is, and slam his email address and slam the switchboard and crash it and tell him that law is stupid. Okay, just go ahead, do that. You know, really, no, go ahead, do that. I wouldn't expect you to sit there on your hands just going, well, you know, it's a good thing. It really is. It's a good thing. Yeah. I'll be back right after this.
Hey there, I'm Big Tiny. I'm the host of Big Tiny's Oldies and More. And we're playing music that you just love to hear from the 50s to the 90s. So check us out Monday through Friday and see what we're playing right here on Spreaker.com.
Free Talk Live.
When you call a government bureaucracy, more often than not, the person who you talk to will not know the answer to your question, but they'll tell you they think they know who the person is that has the answer, and they will pass the buck to that other person, and if they happen to pick up the phone, they'll usually pass on the buck, or you'll leave a voicemail and never hear back from anybody.
Right. I mean, I wasn't being rude at the PSA at all. I was, you know, the third person I talked to, she was getting pretty hot under the collar. It's like, you know, what are you being so angry for? I'm just asking regular questions any person would.
Well, she's probably upset that she had to pick up her phone and talk to one of the little peons like you.
She's probably annoyed at her underlings who actually gave you her phone number and let you get through to her.
Yeah, that's probably the case. She just wants to play solitaire, and you interrupted her game, or she just wants to surf on the internet, and you just ruined her day.
Free Talk Live, 7 nights a week from 7 to 10 Eastern, live on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
Join the National Down Syndrome Society's My Great Story campaign
to honor and celebrate the amazing stories of the 400,000 Americans with Down syndrome.
If you have Down syndrome, tell us about your achievements, dreams, and aspirations.
If you know someone who has Down syndrome, tell us how they've inspired you.
Visit ndss.org/stories to share your great story.
Listen to Crash Talk with your host, Christopher John Taylor, on HTLA973.com.
Misfit is a misfit.
Samo.
Ignorant of hygiene, destructive, disorderly, and totally disrespectful.
It's the 515 with Samo on Samo Radio.
AM 1700 Daytona Beach, Holly Hill.
And Southnet 1.
Take the last train to Boston. See them both run. He's leaving. On that midnight train to Georgia.
Sarasota's home for R&B and soul. The Razor Blade Express with Dave the Rave.
What's that moving in the shadows? Claranormal Talk Radio with your host, Steve Hembry, right here on RadioKahuna.com.
Listen to Angel Clark Monday through Friday, 5 to 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on the Radio Freedom News Network. RadioFreedom.us.
It's time to take our republic back, folks. Brian Bonner, the Uncooperative Radio Show host, will tell you how. Join us for the ride of your life. Using humor and the facts, we will expose the news that the mainstream media refuses to report. The Constitution is the solution, and we can prove it. Listen in and find out what it means to be an uncooperative citizen of these United States. You can find our show at uncooperativerradio.com, and we are rebroadcast on redstatetalkradio.com.
What's on your mind? Chances are it's on their mind, too. Check out Diana and Wayne's Grab Bag Potpourri Talk Show. Friday evenings at 8 p.m. Pacific, 11 p.m. Eastern. Only on Spreaker.com.
For the best Southern, classic, and new rock, along with kicking country and R&B, check out Wildcat Radio for the Friday night party. The fun begins at 8 Eastern, 7 Central, with local, state, and national news from the Alabama News Network at the top and bottom of every hour. It's Wildcat Radio's Friday night party, a division of the Vulcan Internet Broadcast Company.
No elitist dribble, no media spin. Logic over emotion, fact over fiction. The home of independent conservative thought. The Conservative Voice with your host, Jeff Wagner, only on the Conservative Radio Network.
Hey, folks, how you doing? This is Reverend Lane S. Pierce with the Views Expressed live right here for the 11th of February, 2014. How y'all doing today? Doing good? Yes, you're doing good. It's Tuesday. Hey, just a little show note for you folks. I'm going to be off Thursday and Friday. I'm going to be off. It's a working vacation. Let's put it that way. I'm going to be working, but it's a working vacation day, you know. Yeah, so I've got a lot of stuff to catch up on, okay? So that was about the only 2 days I can do it. But anyway, yeah, so it's a working vacation for me. And when I say work, I use that term very loosely at this point. But I got to tell you, I mean, you know, people say the economy's really good. No, it's not. Here in the biggest little city in the world, right next door to us, there's Sparks, Nevada, which has Jonasquagus Nugget. They were, Jonasquagus decided, you know, I'm going to retire. So he sold the business. And the new owners came in, and they're getting rid of Trader Dick's. It's gone. And they're going to put Gillies in there, you know, a cowboy bar, you know, dance floor, you know, all that stuff. Then the Roscoe restaurant is going away. And they're going to, you know, I don't know what's going in there, but they're going to put like meeting rooms or something in there and, you know, conference halls and, you know, that kind of thing. And I'm like, okay, so the economy's really good. I've got a video up on my Facebook page that literally shows how good the economy is here, because we go around this whole town and we're seeing, you know, in a strip mall that has 20 to 30, you know, storefronts in it, and maybe half of them are full and the rest are empty. Okay, so I'm seeing that here in Reno, Nevada. The thing that the place here in Reno, Nevada that is slowly building up is what's called Midtown in Reno, Nevada. And yeah, it's looking pretty darn good, you know. So anyway, if you caught the first 5 minutes of the last hour, yeah, I just want to remind you that I had said something, and you might want to go listen to it. Yeah. WesternJournalism.com. Go to Free America Radio on Facebook. Check this out. WesternJournalism.com. As of yesterday, the 10th of February, 2014, ex-CIA officer. Government's fusion centers enable Obama turnkey tyranny. There's a video there from the Blaze TV with Glenn Beck and also former CIA agent Buck Sexton. A caller identifying himself as a former law enforcement officer asked Glenn Beck's radio audience on Thursday to look into fusion centers. It was last Thursday. Okay, there was a video of it there, and yeah, just there's a whole bunch of stuff. A response. There were 3 responses. One person said to the video and to the article. said the civilian security force has always been the National Guard citizen militia. The Constitution does not give the CIC authority to send the National Guard troops outside the borders of the U.S. They are supposed to be the troops to defend Americans at our borders and within the United States from invading forces or from government tyranny. Now that Obama has co-opted the National Guard as one of his national military forces, every state should be busy forming citizen militias that do not answer to federal government for anything. Exactly. The government has been, another response is, the government has been using the National Guard since the war in Iraq, and that's a fact. No, they've been using the National Guard a lot earlier than that. Someone else responds, as a point of fact, I served in the Army in 1967 and 1970, and on volunteering and going through a processing, I noticed different designations in service numbers. Volunteers designated RA, Regular Army, Draftees US, and National Guard NG. We all trained together, and when I was overseas there were NG people serving as well. It could have been a temporary active duty assignment due to shortages of specialty MOS or military occupation specialty. It would seem the Guard has been used for many years. Yes. Yeah, folks, yeah. We are, I'm going to say this, we are at the brink of a civil war. A massive civil war. Massive. It's going to make 1861 to 1865 look like a freaking birthday party in a park. Okay, and I'll tell you why, and it's real simple, because you and I, we the people, are mighty pissed off at what's coming out of Washington, D.C., and it's not going to stop. Not until we make it stop. Peacefully protesting, civil disobedience, going downtown, holding up signs, that kind of thing, you know, doing what we have to do. But I guarantee you that it's going to take that and possibly a lot more to get these morons in Washington, D.C. to stop doing what they're doing or ultimately step down. We, the people, can fire them. Okay? That's just the way it is. A Democratic state senator from Texas said this: the Second Amendment doesn't apply to cities. You may remember Wendy Davis, the Democratic state senator from Texas, whose tennis shoes captured the imagination of the nation. She's currently running for governor in the great state of Texas, and she's come to the same realization that every Democrat in the state has already figured out. Texans love their guns, but Democrats don't. With their campaign disintegrating around her, Davis has decided to abandon her typical anti-gun stance in favor of the cause du jour in Texas, open carry. That decision has ruffled a good number of feathers among her fellow Dems. So now, Wendy is putting those running shoes to good use and trying to backpedal just as fast as she possibly can. Fair warning, prepare for another, quote, I support the Second Amendment, but statement from mysanantonio.com. This is, it's... Wendy Davis will have that Second Amendment, I support the Second Amendment, but statement coming up. And this is an article from mysanantonio.com. Quote, obviously in Texas we have a culture that respects the Second Amendment right and privilege of owning and carrying guns. But we also, of course, have respect and understand the rights and privileges of property owners to make decisions about what's right for them, unquote, said Davis, who is expected to face Republican Attorney General Greg Abbott in the general election in the race for governor. Quote, my position on open carry reflects my respect for both those principles, and I believe the municipalities, school districts, hospitals, private property owners should be the ones that ultimately have a say as to whether this is right from them and their facilities, unquote, she said. In other words, Wendy supports the constitutionally protected right to keep and bear arms, but thinks that cities should have the power to curtail that right within their borders. Wonder if she also thinks that those same cities should be able to nullify other constitutionally protected rights like free speech and equal protection of women and minorities. Davis appears to be among the disturbingly large number of Democrats who believe that they can pick and choose which parts of the Bill of Rights they like and then ignore the rest. Unfortunately, the law doesn't work that way, no matter how hard they hold their breath and stamp their athletically shod feet on the subject. It's just another illustrative example of how gun control advocates live in a world that isn't quite connected with reality. And this latest in a long line of gaffes definitely won't help her odds in the upcoming election. Okay. I said this once and I'll say it again. Any state governor, any state legislature, any politician in your state or who represents you in Washington, D.C., who proposes gun control laws in your state is a traitor to the Constitution and the Bill of Rights and the principles that it is based on. Any state legislature that proposes gun laws is in direct violation of the Second Amendment of the Bill of Rights of the United States of America prior to 1871. I'm calling all of you politicians out now. You even say gun control. We're going to take that as gun confiscation because that's what you mean. You might as well just come right out and say it. You belong to the New World Order and you want our guns. Okay? You just come right out and say it because we'll deal with honest criminals. We'll deal with, lying politicians. Okay? We can deal with that. We are resilient people and we can, take care of ourselves today and live to see tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? So why don't you politicians just come right out and say it? You are for a new world order and you want our guns. That way we know the playing field. That way we know the enemy. That way we know what we need to do to prepare ourselves to kick your ass. From DavidIke.com, you may or may not like him, but from DavidIke.com, revealed Big Pharma's hidden links to NHS policy with senior MPs saying medical industries uses, quote, wealth to influence government. The NHS bosses allowed a lobbying company working for some of the world's biggest drugs and medical equipment firms to write a draft report which could help shape future health policy. NHS England commissioned a group called the Specialized Healthcare Alliance to consult with patients groups, charities, and health organizations and produced a report feeding into its future 5-year strategy of commissioning 12 billion pounds of services. That's in England, folks. That's about, $14 or $15 billion here. But the SHCA has confirmed that The Independent that it is entirely funded by commercial quote-unquote members. Its director, John Murray, is also a lobbyist whose company lists some of the world's biggest drug and medical device firms as clients. Mr. Murray put his name on the foreword of the NHS England document along with James Palmer, a clinical director of specialized services at NHS England, with whom he admits he had, quote, many meetings on a wide range of organizations and interests. So there you go. Even in England, folks, even in England. It gets to the point where we find an element that we don't like. It gets to the point where we have to decide how we want to deal with that. It gets to the point where if we don't like something, we want to annihilate it. That's human nature. I don't like it. I fear it. I'm going to kill it. I'm going to hurt it. I'm going to destroy it because I don't understand it. I don't like it. Ugh. I'll be back right after this. Imagine a towering skyscraper with numerous floors, and each floor represents a different level of existence. Matter, spirits, angels, ghosts, extraterrestrials, quantum physics, biology, neuroscience, religion, metaphysics, even paranormal studies, all have their place in The Grid. The Grid, exploring the hidden infrastructure of reality, by Marie D. Jones and Larry Flaxman. Available at Barnes & Noble and Amazon.com.
Did you know that the first Matrix was designed to be a perfect human world where none suffered, where everyone would be happy? And it was a disaster. No one would accept the program. Entire crops were lost. Some believed that we lacked the programming language to describe your perfect world, but I believe that as a species, human beings define their reality through misery and suffering. So the perfect world was a dream that your primitive cerebrum kept trying to wake up from, which is why the Matrix was redesigned to this, the peak of your civilization.
Sharing the truth, one fact at a time. Defending liberty and freedom. Fighting the New World Order. This is the Free America Radio Network. Yes, it is, folks, the Free America Radio Network. I am your host. This is the views expressed live on the Free America Radio Network right here. freeamericaradio.us. Check it out. Help us get to the next level. Donate what you can. Go to the store. Buy some Liberty and Freedom Network merchandise. It's all there. Help us get to the next level. So let me tell you something, folks. I find it incredibly odd, and let me go back to that article, Big Pharma. I find it incredibly odd that we spend billions and billions of dollars sending it over to other countries to help them, whether it's education, humanitarian, whatever it is. But we have spent trillions on wars, tearing down those countries and rebuilding them. Oh, you didn't think that's what we do? Oh, there's enemies over there. No, folks. Do you know what a civil war is? If you look at the essence of every single battle that we have been invited to participate in, all those countries have been in civil war. That's all. They've been in civil war. This has gone on for ages. And people have always looked to the United States of America as being the world's police. But when we send humanitarian aid to countries, you know, it's often overlooked. But we spend billions and billions of dollars doing that. When most of the people here in the United States are sick and dying, malnourished, and they can put that money to better use. Like giving people money to start their own businesses. In 2008, Bush signed a $867 or $876 billion bailout for the banks. As a matter of fact, I myself personally think that all the banks should have just went under. That would have collapsed the system and we would have been... No, it wouldn't have. You know why? Called entrepreneurship. People would have, got their resources as much as they could and did what they could do to survive. That's what would have happened. Now, we have a country that is so dumbed down that we don't even know that what Common Core is and how badly it truly is affecting our children and the students. We're so dumbed down and stupid, most of us. Not me. There's a bunch of us that aren't, and we're very well aware of what's going on, and we're telling you about it. But there are so many different people that are so stupid that they can't, figure out just by the trends, just by following the money, just by connecting the dots, what's going to happen and what is happening. All they care about is the damn football games, baseball games, basketball games. What's coming out of Hollywood, that Illuminati, capital down there in Los Angeles. There's so many things going on that people are so stupid they just don't want to look at it. I don't want my day ruined. It's already ruined, jackass. I don't want to think about all this stuff because I get anxiety attacks. So if I'm just too wild... Dude. It's people like that I'm going to slap across the face and say, wake up. Because you absolutely positively do not know what you're talking about. You never have and you never will. If you don't admit that something is wrong, how can you fix it? If you don't admit that you don't know something, how can you learn about it? Easy on that part. Just go start reading and go start talking to people and put two and two together and figure it out. But if you can't do that, well, bye. Have a nice day. From Minds.com, MINDS.com, 9/11 hijackers' passports were issued by the CIA. U.S. consulate whistleblower Michael Springman. There's a video there of a couple of videos. Excuse me. Mike Springman, the former head of the American Visa Bureau in Jeddah, Saudi Arabia, blows the whistle on the 9/11 hijackers. Quote, in Saudi Arabia, I was repeatedly ordered by high-level State Department officials to issue visas to unqualified applicants. These were essentially people who had no ties either to Saudi Arabia or to their own country. I complained bitterly at the time there. I returned to the U.S. I complained to the State Department here, to the General Accounting Office, to the Bureau of Diplomatic Security, and to the Inspector General's office. I was met with silence, unquote. There's videos there. Go check that out. That's on Free America Radio on Facebook. 9/11 hijackers' passports were issued by the CIA, U.S. consulate whistleblower Michael Springman. Now, I'm not going to go over the whole 9/11 thing because we all know it was an inside job. We all know about the little things going on behind the scenes up to that point when it happened. And it was the design of the whole thing was put together in the Clinton administration because it is on record that Bill Clinton knew about Osama bin Laden, who, well, he was on CIA payroll as operative Tim Osman. Go check it out. It's all right there. And, of course, they knew all about this stuff. They knew it. President Bush knew it when he was in office. What did they do? Nothing. Okay? Why? Because they needed to create such panic in the United States financially that they would have, and it would give them the justification to spend as much money as they have been. Okay? There's a lot of pictures on Free America Radio on Facebook. From thewhitevoice.com, I don't think that's a racist comment or website, thewhitevoice.com. As soon as the phone decides to load the page. Free speech ended. Law student charged for racist, quote unquote, remarks. Okay. As soon as I get down, there we go. University of Connecticut law student accused of allegedly making anti-Semitic, racist, and homophobic comments to university officials appeared in court Wednesday. Anya Barge, 32, was arrested last week. Police said the arrest stems from anti-Semitic emails she sent to the Student Bar Association. In response to suggestions for a new dean, authorities said Barge wrote, "Let's celebrate diversity by having the next dean not be Jewish." Okay, there's a video there, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, that pretty much is a statement. Whether it was racist or not, I can't make that determination. Somebody else thought it was and threw her butt in jail. So, you can't say anything anymore. Okay? I got a picture up there, and I want to make this perfectly clear to people. I got friends of every race, creed, and religion. And I can tell you right now, from what I've seen, there's radicals in every single one of the religions that are out there on the planet today. But the worst of the worst of the worst is the radical Muslims who want nothing to do with freedom, sovereignty, liberty, or anything, and they want to suppress everybody, including women, and wear those burqas and everything else. Let me tell you something, you radical Muslim pieces of crap. We're not going to have Sharia law in the United States of America because over 200 million people with 300 million guns are not going to allow it. Guarantee you. And I like the picture on Free America Radio on Facebook. We don't want your Sharia law. And it shows a boot in the ass of a Muslim. Get the hell out of my country now. I'm only trying to save your life because if you insist on implementing that Sharia law, we're going to send you back to your homeland in a body bag. That is a guarantee. Activist post. Google to introduce smart contact lenses. The era of cyborgs is here. I read that yesterday. Also, there's a 6-minute video that explains the Boston bombing hoax. Also on Free America Radio on Facebook, a peek inside the DEA manual. Got that one. And also from Distorted Reality with Nick Tucker. When exposing a crime is treated as committing a crime, you are being ruled by criminals. Distorted Reality with Nick Tucker on Facebook. DistortedReality.podbean.com. Today was the worldwide protest against surveillance. The daywefightback.org. And pretty much that's all I can get on my phone right now. But I'm going to make this clear to people, and I make no apologies for this, okay? I make no apologies whatsoever, okay? When you stand up for something, when you say, I am against that, what you're saying is you're doing what is right. I am against any religion forcing me to believe what they believe and saying that if I don't, they're going to kill me. I am against the radical Muslims or the jihadists or the Syrian rebels cutting the heads off of Christians. I am against that. I am against all violence against humankind. But if I'm met with violence, I have a God-given right to protect myself, including protect myself from a tyrannical government. Because I took an oath when I was in the military, and I stand by that oath to defend to support and defend the Constitution of the United States of America against all enemies, foreign and domestic, and I will, to the very last breath. So if anybody has a problem with that, I'm going to tell you something. I got a message for you. Pack your bags, move to China or Russia, because you don't deserve to be in the land of the free and the home of the brave. Because it was the brave that helped you be free. I don't want to hear it anymore. You people are stupid, and that's just the way it is. I'm talking to you people out there that think that there's nothing wrong. Oh, Obama's not a bad guy. He's not a Muslim. He's not this. He's not that. You guys are the biggest idiots on the face of the planet. He literally said, I don't know if it was an open hot mic or what, but he said he can do anything he wants. Well, let's just make sure he understands we the people are his boss, shall we? Now, you have one goal in mind, and that goal is to survive. Now, I know I get pissed. I know I get ranting. I know that I call out these people, these idiots that think everything's just fine. Most of them you can find over at MSNBC or any NBC-affiliated station. Or in Congress. How's that? But your sole purpose is to survive. Now, I know, let me, newsflash, folks. Let me give you a reality check. This body's not going to last forever. And at one point, we're just going to lay down and go to sleep and never wake up again. That's the truth. That's the hard, cold facts of life. But I don't want somebody on the other side of the street telling me that, well, if you don't do things my way, I'm going to come over there and kick your butt and I'm going to hurt you and you don't. You know what? That gets me to calling the police and saying, that guy right over there threatened me because I don't believe what he believes. But then again, I don't need to call the police because I have a God-given right to protect myself. We all do. Now, for what it's worth, I will say this. Take it any way you want, but I'm going to say this. There are good people in law enforcement. There are good people. When I say good people, I'm talking they're fair, they're constitutional, they stand on the Constitution, they know what it means, and they hold on to those values and they hold on to those principles. There are good people in departments in Washington, D.C., but they're too few and far between to ever come together to facilitate a movement. That is why you, me, we the people, need to stand up and say enough's enough. We need to put it on live stream, Ustream, YouTube Live, whatever. We need to do that. We need to, get out in the streets and hundreds of thousands of people out in the streets telling everybody this is what we do. I don't know why people in Washington, D.C., the good people, there's good people in offices up there. There's like a handful of politicians that know what the hell they're doing. Everybody else is a dumber than a box of rocks. But I don't know why they just don't get together and say, we've had enough. I really, I don't know why those people there's good people in DHS and the FBI and there's good constitutionally believing people in those departments. Why don't they just come right out, not go to work one day, and just rally right in front of the White House and say, we've had enough. We want you gone. Why don't they do that? Because they don't want to rock the boat. They don't want to they don't want to look like fools. They don't want to do this. They don't want to do that. Well, yeah, we know it's wrong, but there's nothing we can do. Yeah, there is. You got connections. You obviously can rally a whole bunch of people together. Oh, I'm pretty sure if the president looked out his Oval Office window and saw 5,000 people in Washington, D.C. standing there at that mall, the Washington Mall right there. Oh, I'm pretty sure he'll start, shaking in his, loafers. We need to do something, folks. I mean, that's just the way it is. We need to make headway. Peacefully, civil disobedience, you got to remember that. Unless they start firing on us, then we have a God-given right to protect ourselves by any means necessary, and we will. We are a resilient country. Look what happened after 1865, and then we screwed up and sold this country to the Rothschilds in 1871. God, how stupid was that? Now we're a corporation. Did you know that? 1925, the United States of America was was made a corporation. The United States of America, Inc., or something like that. Go look it up. It's all in history. As a matter of fact, go to stopthecrime.net. Check it out there as well. Gonna take a little break, folks. Yeah, actually, here in just a couple of minutes, as soon as I find one. You ever have one of those days you wake up in the morning and you're like, why am I awake? You ever have one of those days? You know, you wake up in the morning and you're like, oh my God, my alarm went off. What am I doing now? You know what I mean? What am I doing? I don't know. What the heck, you know? It's just... I felt that way this morning. I got up, I had to, go to the doctor, blah, blah, blah. I had to do all that. And I had to fast last night, so I didn't eat breakfast this morning. So it's kind of like, why am I up? What am I doing? How was all of this, it's just one of those days, folks. Going and just as a show note, I will not be here Thursday and Friday. I'll call it a working vacation. But I will not be here Thursday and Friday. I will be here next Monday. So, hey, I'm just letting you know. That way you won't tune in and go, where's he at? He's not live. Because I'm not here on Thursday and Friday. I got things I got to do. Yes, let's go to the Spreaker chat and say this, that Spreaker.com awards on TNN Radio are this Friday at 6:30 p.m. Eastern. That would be 3:30 p.m. Pacific. More info at God, I can't even see that, folks. WTNNradio.blogspot.com. Yes, there you go. So check that out. Friday at 3:30 p.m. Pacific, 6:30 p.m. Eastern. The Spreaker Awards on TNN on what is it? Trying to adjust myself here, folks. On WTNNradio.blogspot.com. So there you go. What do we do, folks? I mean, seriously, what do we do? We just sit around and be the Monday morning quarterback? Do we be the, are we the desktop jockeys? Are we the, laptop lieutenants? What do we do? I know what I would do, but you can make up your own mind. Go find your local state militia.
And will, to the best of my ability,
preserve, protect, and defend.
Preserve, protect, and defend
the Constitution of the United States.
The Constitution of the United States.
So help you God.
So help me God.
Ah, damn politicians. My mother always told me this country would be screwed if the liberals had their way. The only sanity I get is when I listen to Jeff Wagner on the Conservative Voice, only on the Conservative Radio Network.
This is Reverend Wayne S. Pierce, and I want to tell you of a DVD that I have watched. It's a very interesting one. It's a film by Alex Jones. It's called Endgame, Blueprint for Global Enslavement. For the New World Order, a world government is just the beginning. Once in place, they can engage their plan to exterminate 80% of the world's population while enabling the quote-unquote elites to live forever with the aid of advanced technology. For the first time, crusading filmmaker Alex Jones reveals their secret plan for humanity's extermination. Operation Endgame. That's Endgame by Alex Jones. Get it at Infowars.com or PrisonPlanet.com. Hey, folks, how you doing? How you doing? This is Reverend Wayne S. Pierce right here for the Views Expressed live on Free America Radio Network, freeamericaradio.us. Help us get to the next level by donating what you can. Go to the store and pick up some Liberty and Freedom Network merchandise. All that does is help us get to the next level. That's all it's doing, folks. I get zero, zip, zilch, nada from any of that. Just letting you know. Just want to be transparent. We need to get to the next level. We do have expenses, but they're covered for now. So all that, donations and a store there at freeamericaradio.us, all that does is go help Free America Radio get to the next level. That's all. That's it. So if you want to help Free America Radio Network get to the next level, please do. We are on a micro broadcasting station in the Chickamauga, Georgia area on 1610 AM, and that is wakingupthemasses.com. You can find more information there at wakingupthemasses.com. We are on 1610 AM in the Chickamauga, Georgia area on the micro broadcasting station of Mr. Bob Brutus at wakingupthemasses.com. There are so many things, folks, and I got a few minutes here I'm going to tell you. I'm going to give you what I got there. Hey, I don't always promote it. That reminded me of something, doing that little voice there. I don't always promote it, but I'm looking for voice actors who are readily available, because I have a couple of projects in the works right now. I have 10 or 11 episodes of a radio drama. You remember those old radio shows? Yeah, I've written one. I've got like 10 or 11 episodes, 12 episodes of one that I just wrote. And I'm looking at developing the other story idea that I have. So if you're a voice actor or a writer, please let me know. Send all your information to Eastland Radio Theater at USA.com. Eastland Radio Theater at USA.com. Now, the thing that is really, really important is this. I have certain things that, well, let's just say, I know what is coming down the line. I know what is coming down the line. I don't like it, but reality check, folks. It ain't going to be easy. It's not going to be easy. I know for a fact what is coming down the line. Okay? Because I follow trends. I look at what's happening. I hear the words of the people involved in this regime, much like the person who's in the suit at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue in the Oval Office, who just said, that's the good thing. That's the good thing as a president. I can do whatever I want. That's a quote from the president. I already put that article from theblaze.com up on Free America Radio on Facebook. Check it out. Now, if we overlook what is happening, if we have that mindset, or if you have the mindset of, oh, everything's okay, it'll work itself out in the end. No, it won't. You know what'll work itself out in the end? You being in a FEMA camp. That's what it's going to happen. because you didn't see any of this coming. And myself and Nick Tucker and Bob Brutus and Alex Jones and Glenn Beck and a few other people and Brian Keller over at the BK Factor on Revolution Radio, we're all telling you what's coming down the line. That's why I say I know what's happening, because I see right through this regime's veil. I know exactly what they're going to do. You know why? Because not only do I do that, I look at history. And in history tells us that when governments were, built of the people, much like the Roman Republic, that's what it was called, the Roman Republic, it began to deteriorate and become very cancerous on the inside from people who wanted control. That's why it became the Roman Empire. That is why in some nations around the world, the United States is looked at as being the most evil empire on the face of the planet. Why? Because we're the bullies in the schoolyard. We go out and involve ourselves in wars that we don't need to be in. Okay? We need to go around the world and protect our allies. I understand that. And to me, that's honorable. But we also need the majority of our military here in the United States protecting our borders, period. We need them here. And let's force our politicians to bring them home. Now, today, this minute. 10 minutes before the top of the hour on the 11th of February, 2014. The other thing is, and I make no apologies for this, if people do not see what's happening, if people cannot grasp the magnitude of the tyranny in America right now, you people are freaking blind. Okay? I cannot tell you how disturbed I am to see as many people become really academically stupid and not be able to see what's happening. Okay? I don't know. Is that an insult to people? No. It's a reality check. Hello? Are you going to sit there and deny what's happening? Or are you going to sit there and say, I don't want to look at it because, it causes me to have great anxiety over stuff. Are you going to be that stupid? Folks, let me tell you something. I said this the last hour. I worked 3.5 years. I know a lot of people have probably worked a lot longer than that, but I've worked 3.5 years in the funeral business. We had, where I was living in Stockton, California, we had the removal contract for San Joaquin County, and I've seen every imaginable condition of a body when it's dead. Okay? Now, why am I telling you this? Because if you don't understand what's coming down the line, you're going to be dead or be captured and put into a FEMA camp. Reality check, folks. This next 18 months is not going to be a picnic in the park. Because you look at what this dictator-in-chief is doing in the White House. It's good to be president. I can do whatever I want. Now kiss my ass, Mr. President. You can't. You have to answer to the American people. That is my message to the president and to the White House. And to that big doofus Vice President Joe Biden. He can bite me. I don't care. If you cannot see what is coming down the line, or even if you don't want to listen to people help you understand what's coming down the line, I'm sure China and Russia would love your citizenship. Bye. Have a nice day. You got no right to be here if all you care about is, well, let me rephrase that. You don't deserve to be an American if you're not following the Constitution and the Bill of Rights, and if you're not wanting peace, freedom, and security and sovereignty for this nation. You can pack your crap and get the hell out. Sorry. I find it incredibly odd, that people are so stupid. But I also, let me flip the other side of that coin over. I also find it quite encouraging that there are some very smart and very intelligent people out there who are very much aware of what's going on and probably know a hell of a lot more than I do. It's very encouraging to see people like this because it gives me hope. It gives me hope that these people are able to get out and to do what needs to be done and to take care of themselves and to take care of the people around them and to teach people around them what's happening. Oh, yeah, I've heard of college professors standing up in the middle of the class saying, hey, this is what's happening in our nation today. And, of course, teachers don't last long when the students don't want to hear that crap. Some of them do, some of them don't. But it's very encouraging to see very intelligent, well-aware people understand what's going on. It gives me hope. I am my faith in humanity is partially restored, not completely, but it's there, And I find it incredibly odd that people just cannot grasp the severity of the situation that's going on around them. I just can't. I don't know why. I don't know why people can't see this. I got friends who say they're liberal, but they're more in the middle. I'm like, what side of the fence are you going to jump from? Okay, what side are you going to land on? Okay. I've heard people tell me that, Barack Obama's pretty good. I just don't like his policies. Well, yeah, I kind of like Vladimir Putin too, but he's not the kind of guy I want running my country. I'll have a beer with him, but I don't drink. But I'll have a soda with him. I don't care. It's like I don't like his policies. I disagree with everything that he talks about, except for when he criticizes the U.S. for being a police state and for being a tyranny. Yeah, I can shake his hand on that one. You bet. Oh, does that mean you want to move to Russia? No, that just means I have a good view and understanding of the people in power. Okay? Give you a contrast. North Korean Kim Jong-un killed his uncle for not doing what the government wanted him to do. Hello? I don't see Vladimir Putin doing that. I saw Lenin, I read that Lenin and Stalin did that. Stalin killed most of his family because he was a psychopathic son of a, you know what I mean. You can go read that. That's in history. Lenin the same way. If you didn't agree with him, you're either, sent to the Russian front or imprisoned or sent to Siberia or killed. They didn't care. But because, there's a little more humanity in Moscow now, I think, Vladimir Putin doesn't do that. That I've heard of. Okay? So I don't know. But America has to get some balls and get a backbone. We have to get some balls, people. We have to get a backbone. We have to stand up and say enough's enough. Okay? We do. That's just the way it is. That's just the way it is. This is the Free America Radio Network. Go to freeamericaradio.us. Email me, freeamericaradio@unseen.is. That's freeamericaradio@unseen.is. I will not be here Thursday and Friday, but I will be here tomorrow at 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern, right here on the Free America Radio Network. We the people have the power, for we are America.